Hey, glad to have you back with us. Well, after making landfall on Wednesday night near Siesta Key, Hurricane Milton is crossing Florida, bringing damaging winds, heavy rain, and tornadoes. While many residents evacuated, the situation remains dire for those who have stayed behind. This morning, we're connecting with Oliver Mair, the Consul General of Jamaica in Florida, for an update on the storm's damage, ongoing rescue efforts, and essential resources available to residents, especially those in the Jamaican community. Consul General Mair, how are you doing? Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Sir Dennis. Good morning, Miss Kitty.
Hi, good morning.
And good
How
morning
are you?
to all the. I am good. I'm good. Just waking up and assessing the damage across Florida. I've been making a number of calls to find out exactly who has been damaged, who is okay, and just get a total assessment or initial assessment, I should say.
Florida has a large Jamaican population, as we all know. There are different pockets of Jamaicans, of course, in different sections of the state. In the area where the hurricane has been most impactful, what are the Jamaican communities or pockets there?
All right, so good question. So, for example, we have a lot of Jamaicans in Tampa. And, in conversations with them yesterday, a lot of them had actually moved out. And so many came down to Fort Lauderdale and to Miami. And some had moved more inland to Orlando. And so we had students, for example, at some of the universities. I was happy to hear many of them had actually come down south of Florida. And a few were in shelters, but eventually made their way to some family and friends. So for the most part, I know the ones we spoke to were taking the hurricane very seriously and had made arrangements to move out of areas of harm.
I remember hearing, Sir Mair, that the Milton was a Category 5. It dropped to 4. It's now back up. What is the current wind speed going on? What is its current state right now?
All right, so it would have hit last night at Category 3. And the winds were very strong, very strong. And in fact, I believe we have about over 3 million homes that are without light and water now. So which is part of the challenge of getting to people now on the phone. But in addition to the winds and the rains, another challenge we had yesterday, right throughout Florida, was tornadoes, right across the length and breadth. I think there was a record number of warnings that were issued for tornadoes. And we started to see the videos going around of homes being damaged by tornado. And so, this morning, we will get up. We will start to get feedback from the agencies as they move more on the ground. We can get a sense of actual numbers of persons that were impacted. But just the initial cause, I know people are still having rains, people are still a heavy breeze, but the Jamaicans I spoke to seem to be okay. One man I spoke to in Fort Myers this morning and said, boy, CG, Hurricane Milton on a boy. He could barely put a proper sentence together and said, CG, do me, I call you back a little later, but boy, Milton on a boy. And then he started to reference one friend he had that he said, boy, I'm tell the man for move, I tell the man for move long time. I'm not listen to CG, I call you back later. So I don't know what happened with that gentleman, but for the individuals I've spoken to a number of states, from Tallahassee, Tampa, Fort Myers, Orlando, people seem to have fared okay. But, today is the day when we'll get an assessment,
the reality start coming through.
Damage.
Yeah. You, in the past, when these situations have hit Florida, you've been very effective in connecting the business community, because that's one aspect, the economic side of it, Jamaican business. From that perspective, What have you been picking up, and how has the community been connecting to help each other, which has been in the past a big part of your job?
Yeah, I want to say kudos to our Jamaican diaspora, always supportive. We have a lot of WhatsApp groups. People reach out to each other to assess what's happening, if anybody is in danger, anybody in harm, anybody in need. And typically after a hurricane like this, many of us will now go to volunteer at some of the relief agencies, like, with the Food for the Poor, Global Empowerment Mission, just help them to load some relief boxes and stuff to go to communities in need. But generally, people will rally behind to see if there's anybody in need that we can support, and the groups. And that's the importance of having a strong diaspora community, because yeah, you can get a sense of what's happening in an area by just reaching out to some of the community leaders, and they will say, boy, CG, this person here having a challenge with this particular problem, and we'll work together and see how best we can assist. But typically, the cities are well organized here in the United States. So our Jamaicans living here just need to ensure that they tap into the system.
Yes.
And get the resources that are available from the state, by their commissioners, by their mayors. I mean, just as an example, in South Florida alone, we have 26 elected officials who are of Jamaican descent. Not that that matters. Not that that matters. Whether you're of Jamaican descent or whether they are of Jamaican descent or not, the support will be there. So anybody living in Florida who has a need, the state will be moving ahead to give them support. And if it is that for some reason or the other you're having a challenge, you can always reach out to us at the consulate. We will help to connect the dots, ensure that we assist you in getting with your respective commissioner or mayor for the help that will be available for the hurricane.
And finally, CG, just finally, quickly, for those, Jamaicans who are watching what's going on in Florida at this time, who may be anxious and worried about their family members, is there a number that they can call or, to inquire? Because, we're watching from down here and everyone in Lord Jesus, boy, what can they do? Who can they call for additional information in the event that they can't find or get in touch with their family members?
Good question. And I should say that on the heels of Hurricane Helen, where we had, not to scare anybody, but we had over 200 lives lost, not Jamaican, just generally, and 685 persons still missing. So this came right on the heels of Hurricane Helen. But many a times, individuals just don't have light or power, their phones are now dead. And so you can reach out to us at the consulate. I mean, I've waited there or two, just because many persons just don't have access to electricity right now. But you can call 305-374-8431. And you can also reach out to us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, at the Consulate General of Jamaica, Miami. And my personal pages as well, our work pages, Mair Oliver, both on Facebook and Instagram. And persons can just reach out, direct messages. You can email us at info@jamaicacgmiami.org. That's info@jamaicacgmiami.org. And we'll be happy to assist in terms of anybody who is in dire straits, needs to connect with their Jamaica consulate. Feel free to do so. And again, we implore the community to just not rush out on the roads too quick. Listen to hear from the authorities, continue to take all the precautions. Lots of water on the road, lots of poles down, lots of trees down, lots of damage from the tornadoes. And so we have to be absolutely careful. So don't move out until we get the official word from our authorities.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, CG.
Thank you very much. Consul General Oliver Mair, thank you for that important update.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, TK is on standby with the morning news. Stay with us.